Welcome. We are at Mountain View High School in Mountain View, California, and it's a crisp fall evening. There was rain this morning, and there's rain forecasted for the next 2 days. But right now we have some cloudy skies with, dare say, a few stars poking through, and no rain. I'm Mark Diamond here tonight with Mike Messner, and we have KMVT Friday Night Football. Tonight, Palo Alto Senior High School Vikings have come to battle the Mountain View High School Spartans for a critical game for both teams. We just had the coin toss, and Palo Alto won the coin toss, and they are going to defer the kick, Mike?
Correct, and Mountain View will be playing into the east, at least to start off, and we're going to have quite a contest. It's really important for both teams, isn't it, Mark?
Yeah, I mean, the Palo Alto Vikings play in the Central Coast Section De Anza Division. They have arrived from across town with a 3-5 overall record this season and 1-2 all-important league records. The Vikings have had a bit of a mixed season, losing their first 2 games, winning the next 4, but then losing the last 2, including a shellacking last week, 49-0 against Los Gatos. And Mountain View also plays in the Central Coast De Anza Division. Mountain View comes here tonight with a 5-3 overall record and 2-2 against league opponents. Last week, they unfortunately lost 2, and 49-45 against Homestead. And we are going to pause for the very important national anthem.
What so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the heavens above, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets swiftly, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of victory and the hope of the
All right, beautiful rendition of our national anthem. Now, Mike, this is a really important game because right now in the standings, Mountain View is half a game ahead of Palo Alto, and it's becoming crunch time.
Well, if you take a look at the standings, I mean, Los Gatos, as proved by their, real massacre of Palo Alto not long ago, well-deservedly atop that league. Wilcox and Homestead at tied for second, and then Mountain View really nipping at the heels. They really want to get into that second place spot more unequivocally. And then below that, we have Milpitas and Pali, and then Santa Clara bringing up the bottom of the division. So if you look at where Mountain View sits, Mark, it is a truly critical game. And it's going to be interesting to see how they play against a Palo Alto squad that's bigger and more numerous, but doesn't have the same win-loss record.
And I think we're going to see tonight, in general, Mountain View's been a little bit more balanced, a little bit better both on the passing and the run game. Palo Alto, we'll talk about this a little later, has basically declared that they want to become a little less one-dimensional. So we should have a really good contest tonight.
And the other thing that is interesting to see, Mark, is that if Palo Alto is down in the fourth quarter, they are more likely to come back than Mountain View is statistically. So we're going to see what happens, because there goes our opening kickoff.
Gerardo Becerra for Palo Alto kicking all the way to Vilama Sacona, number 22, and he's got it and actually advances all the way down to about the 31. So a fairly nice, good start for the Spartans, ending up in about, we'll see where they spot that. It looks like it's going to be just about the 30-yard line. Now, The top 4 teams in the league are going to make it to the playoffs. So this is more than just pride. Whichever team can get into that top 4 spot, obviously it's going to be. And there's some more games left in the season, but they're running out of opportunities, quite frankly. This is the game for both of them to move ahead.
Absolutely. And there's Jackson Steffen, the senior quarterback. He came into this game, Mark, with 832 total passing yards, and he has never been picked off.
A little bungle there on the snap, and he's fortunately able to recover it, but he's going to get tackled there for about a 5-yard loss, bringing up 2nd and 15.
Now, I didn't say anything about fumbles, but he's never been picked off, and fortunately for him, he was able to recover that little miscue there.
Jackson Steffen so far this year has a quarterback rating pretty high of about 123. You know, if you look at he has 60 out of 103 completions. So pretty good percentages. And 832 yards this season, so passing. So, you know, he's comfortable both running and throwing the ball. Handoff. Good stop there by Palo Alto.
I think that was Alex Bourne there, the cornerback on that one.
And he was able to get probably 8 yards on that. That's going to bring up 3rd and 5 right now. Again, tonight we don't really think the weather's going to be the factor. Just a little bit of wind, little beautiful nippy fall evening, but otherwise it's just beautiful football weather.
Yeah, we thought that we were going to get some rain, so we're lucky to not have the rain and not to be out in the elements. Right
Handoff to Leo Navarro.
He's not going to make it.
And matter of fact, he's going to be pushed back a little bit, so they're going to lose 5 yards and bring up 4th and 10. And the punt squad descends onto the field.
That, I think, was Brody Simison, who lines up as a quarterback. He's a senior. That's number 20 for the Vikings. And he came into this with just 1 solo tackle, but he has picked off the ball twice.
Puncher's James Rodriguez-King, and that's going to bounce out of bounds in Viking territory. It looks like they're going to spot that just about. What do they got? They're going to stand about the 39-yard line on that one.
You know, Mark, it's going to be interesting to see how Palo Alto responds, because they tend to run a whole lot of tight ends. They've got a number of tight ends on their roster. It'll be interesting to see if they have a set where they use 2 or more tight ends in this opening drive.
Palo Alto coach Nelson Gifford really said, hey, we got to really rethink our strategy. We've got to think differently if we're going to win this. And so you can bet all week they've been working on that. Handoff to number 21. That's Charlie Hoke, Palo Alto, and he gets stopped basically for no gain on that, 2nd and 10.
That was great penetration there by the Mountain View defense, because they're going to have to develop a more aggressive approach as well if they want to come away with the victory.
Pass and a completion. Tommy Butler on the completion there. Doesn't actually get good throw, a good catch, doesn't get a lot out of it, maybe a couple yards, bringing up 3rd and 7th.
That was a nice wide out route, but it was well covered by the Spartans along that right side. So, yeah, they're still facing a 3rd and long. First pass of the game tonight, I think.
You know, I wonder if this is going to set the tone for the rest of the evening. Are we going to have a defense-dominated game? Danny Peters almost gets boxed in, but he actually takes advantage of it and runs and makes it all the way to the 25-yard line. So not only gets the 3rd down conversion, but actually makes his way pretty well downfield on this one. We'll see where he got pushed out. It looks like he got pushed out about the 28-yard line, but well into Mountain View territory.
Well, you can see here, Mark, that the Spartans did dial up a blitz, but Danny Peters, who is a 6'5", 240-pound senior and fast as a rocket, he was able to get away from everything that they threw. And here he goes again.
Keeping it, and he gets bounced back. bounce is probably a better word than tackle, but that's going to be a tackle for a loss. Now, the last time these two teams played was in March earlier this year. This was the pandemic postponed season, and Mountain View took the win there 38-21, which was pretty big for them because the last time they had beat Pali was like 20 years ago. So it was a big win, and you know, Pali, which has traditionally been really a strong player within the league, you know, like a lot of teams, is making a lot of roster adjustments because of COVID. A lot of rebuilding going on with these teams. And so when they played that game last spring, it was a little weird. They played it, actually it was a home game for Palo Alto, but the power went out in Palo Alto. And so they actually played the game in Mountain View here. And Mountain View, even though they were technically a visitor in their own stadium, took the win. They won 38-21.
And that is impressive considering the legacy that Pali has.
All right, looks like we're coming back to that. Timeout taken by the Vikings. Looks like they want to think about what they're going to do here. Snap to Peters, handoff to 34, and then a throw. Allows it out to number 20, Brody Simpson. And Brody Simpson actually makes it not only another first down, but actually gets all the way down to the 9-yard line. They are in the red zone for the Vikings. So,
you know, Brody actually is the second quarterback on this team. He did line up as a wide receiver, and if we take a look at the replay here, you see the man in motion. And this is actually a screen pass that Pali ran just now, and it worked very well. Mountain View was not prepared in their secondary to catch Brody Simpson.
Well-used timeout by Palo Alto. And then we have a keep, but that gets fumbled out of bounds, but I think he was out of bounds at that point. So yeah. Peters looks like he may have gotten just a little bit out of that, but not too much.
They'll probably mark that at just about the 10-yard line.
So that would be a 1-yard loss. 1-yard loss. 7:51 left in the first quarter.
And so far, the action has really favored the Vikings. They have had a couple of breakaway runs, and it has been behind the legs, if you will, or thanks to the legs of Danny Peters.
Second and 10. Short pass and a completion. Touchdown for the Vikings. Again, Brody Simpson on the completion and no flag. So that is going to stand. So Vikings are first to put some points on the board.
And you see this time that he was rolling right. Of course, he throws right, so that makes perfect sense. But we hadn't seen that, and I think we got blocked.
That is blocked, yes. And so they keep it down to 6 and deny the PAT.
You know, I tell you, Mark, that's got to be a missed assignment that Palo Alto had, because whomever was in for that block had no business being in the backfield. It was not well covered.
That's right. Yeah, the analysts at the Mercury News all unanimously have forecasted giving the advantage to Mountain View on this. I got to wonder out loud, you know, if Palo Alto's coming in this as an underdog, is that an advantage for them? I mean, sometimes when you have lesser expectations, you can play better.
Well, if you think about it, I mean, Palo Alto is playing under 500, so there may be a sense, desperation's probably not the right term, but they probably got a little bit more incentive, because Mountain View, if the season were to end right now, they'd make the playoffs. Palo Alto wouldn't necessarily do that. And also, Palo Alto, as I said at the top of our broadcast, Mark, they are a physically bigger team. So we'll see if they'll continue to impose their will on this Spartan squad that's now down 6-0 in their own backyard.
And that's going to be Dylan Daniel, then handing it off to Din Ali. Din's got it. He's actually makes it past the 35, down to the 40, making it almost to midfield. Finally gets pushed out just about midfield. Excellent return there by Din Ali. Coming back.
They're going to mark that at the 48-yard line, Mark.
Interesting, Dylan Daniels obviously had the return, but then handed it off to Din, and part of their strategy.
Well, Din is not a big man, but I mean, 5'4", 120 pounds. I mean, he can move really fast, and it paid off.
Din hasn't had a lot of action this season, but actually a very good run. He's only had 19 yards season to date, but just
Correct.
quadrupled that in one play.
And that was only on 2 carries. So
that's right. All right, so we got some run up the right, good for about 2 yards. That's going to bring up 2nd and 8, and the ball is at midfield. Stefan handoff. And that goes to Min Khan. We're going to see a lot of Min tonight.
Yes, we are. I mean, he came into this game with 425 total rushing yards. He's carried the ball 73 times, just that being the first one of the year, or of the evening. And he's had a couple of rushing TDs. So he's a weapon in this arsenal.
Yes. 3rd and 2. Handoff again to Min Khan, and Min makes his way up the middle, and that's going to be good for a first down for Mountain View Spartans.
It's interesting that so far there have been 2 straight ahead runs. It's pretty clear that Mountain View is trusting in their offensive line to make holes against some pretty stiff competition. So far it's worked out for them.
And again, Mountain View tends to favor the ground game, and they get very comfortable looking for those creases and just wearing them down play after play, running the ball. Stefan decides to keep it and is brought down pretty quickly. Charlie Hoke on the tackle for the Vikings. And that's about 2 yards they got out of that. 2nd and 8 now.
Mountain View may have run a trap on that, because there was a defensive end that appeared to be unblocked, and then somebody came around from the blind side and got him.
Stefan on the pass, and that's going to fall incomplete. Intended for Joe Brown. Joe couldn't, little bit overthrown and couldn't quite keep his hands on it. That's
Mark, our viewers will be seeing a lot more of Joe Brown in the coming weeks, because he's also on the Mountain View varsity basketball team.
Okay.
A 6'1" senior, and I don't have any of his basketball numbers, but we're not that far off from basketball season beginning.
Third and 8. Stefan looking to get rid of it, and he does. Long throw, bomb downfield, and that is picked off. Danilo Bianchi on the pick, and that's going to hurt a little bit.
Well, that's a huge disappointment. That was Bianchi, as you said, who was there on a pick. But that was a throw into traffic, and it was well covered by the Vikings. There were at least as many white shirts down there, probably more if we can see that again.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4 Pally players, only 3 Mountain View players that I saw. So 1st and 10 for Pally.
Handoff. Butler on the carry, and he's going to actually get a first down out of that.
I think that was Tommy Butler, is that right?
Josh Butler, number 34.
Or was it Josh? I only saw the curve. No, it's Josh.
But it's good. 1st and 10, Vikings.
Well, that gives the Vikings some breathing room at least. And that one's well covered.
Chris Barmore on the stop for the Spartans. And Chris is going to get a tackle for a loss of about 5 yards on that. That's going to bring up 2nd and 15. 4:37 left in this first quarter. And a timeout called, the second timeout of the half for the Vikings. Before the game, Mountain View had its senior night where they honor all of the graduating seniors, talk about their experiences and how long they've played. And that's just a wonderful high school tradition to see these seniors on their path of life and how both playing on the football team and attending Mountain View High School has really enriched their lives.
Well, it's got to be an emotional evening for both the players and their parents, especially if they've played on the JV and then on the varsity. I mean, this is maybe their last game at Mountain View High School on the Mountain View campus. And all I can say is, I wish those players good luck.
And being a parent, walking your kid there, you think, very, very emotional as a parent.
Well, I think you've been there, Mark, and I'll get there one of these days.
Yeah, we all will. All right, 2nd and 15. Quarterback Peters goes for a short screen, but that gets stopped right away.
I'm not sure he picked up anything at all on that.
Joe Brown had anticipated that, and we'll see. Do they move that backwards? That looks like that may have been tackled for a loss for about a yard, bringing up 3rd and 16. So, Palo Alto had the pick, and they really need to do something on this play if they're going to capitalize on that pick.
Well, now they're pinned down 3rd and 17, and you can bet that Palo Alto is going to air this one out. So if I were Mountain View, I'd be playing a strong secondary.
Putting some more defenders in the backfield. Okay, and as you anticipated, that's right. The ball goes out. Pocket collapsed on Peters and bobbled out. Fortunately, Vikings were able to recover. That would have been a real loss had they recovered, but now it's 3 and out for them.
Excellent pressure there. They dialed up a blitz, and given how far they are in their own territory, I think that was a wise move by Mountain View.
Dylan Daniels midfield to return, but that's not even going to get there. It is going to come to a stop about the 35-yard line in Viking territory. So not a very strong kick, and quite frankly, with that series, Mountain View's going to take over almost where they were when they lost it via the pick.
Yeah, that is a gift-wrapped present for the Spartans because they're down in the first quarter. They're in a position where if they can get a PAT, they can take the lead. So Palo Alto now has their backs to the wall in more ways than one.
Although they are up on the scoreboard 6-0, so first to score, first to draw blood. Handoff up the right-hand side. Again, Dylan Daniels, the ball carrier. And we're CS. That's going to be another first down for Mountain View.
Well, Dylan Daniels is only a sophomore, Mark, but he's already racked up 890 rushing yards, or came into this game with that many. He averages 5.5 yards on just 162 carries, and he'll get 47 yards in a game on a good night.
Handoff again to Daniels. Daniels almost the same play, running up the right-hand side. But we have a late flag coming out.
That may have been a late hit.
Yes. Personal foul against the Vikings, so that's going to be an expensive 15 yards.
That's going to really hurt because the ball was spotted at about the 25. That's going to bring the Spartans almost to 1st and goal.
Clearly well into the red zone.
But as we always said, Mark, and I'll say it one more time, a personal foul never goes unpunished.
You know, this late in the season, the beginning of the season, we expect a lot more penalties because they're just not as disciplined. But these teams have been playing a long time. They played spring ball. Soon after spring ball, you know, summer practice started and then into the fall. So these teams should be more disciplined than we're normally used to,
Indeed.
especially this later in the season.
But in the heat of battle, things happen.
1st and 10. Handoff.
He was tackled back at the 20. They may give him forward progress, but there wasn't much of that.
Horacio Becerra for Palo Alto on the stop. And he's going to tackle for loss for a couple yards on that one, 2nd and 12.
Well, that's a good defensive response from Pally because they realized that they're in danger of letting the Spartans go ahead, and so they've responded pretty well so far.
Little pitch to Dylan Daniels, running up the left-hand side, making it almost the end zone. He's going to get pushed out. It looks like about the 5-yard line on that. And that's not going to be quite enough. Let's see where they spot that. Yes, that's going to be 3rd down and about 2. The line of gain is about on the 3-yard line, if we do the math correct.
Well, here comes one of the other tight ends, Aiden Gefkin, into the game. So we may be looking at a couple of tight end set here.
Important 3rd down conversion or score. And just as that started, some laundry comes out. And so let's rule the touchdown, but let's see.
Somebody jumped on that one, I think, Mark.
Illegal shift, and that's going to be against Mountain View. Correction, illegal motion, not illegal shift, illegal motion against Mountain View. And so that's going to move it from 3rd and 2, about 3rd and 8.
That's frustrating.
You know, there's a big difference between 3rd and 2 and 3rd and 8.
Well, especially in the red zone. I mean, you're in a position where you could run it in if you get some decent blocking. Now you may have to throw the ball if you want to get the 7.
Handoff. Leo Navarro, the ball carrier on that, and Leo doesn't quite get enough. Got close, tried to make his way through, but Leo's going to be about a yard short. 4th and 1, and we'll have to see what Mountain View wants to do on this. Clearly within field goal territory range. Easy field goal.
Well, they're keeping Jackson Steffen on the field.
So that makes me think that they're going to go for it.
And they do.
Running right up the middle.
I don't think I don't know.
I don't think he made the touchdown, so we're not seeing them signal the touchdown. We'll have to see, did he make enough for the 1st down? But no, it looks like, oh, no, they actually called. They measured, okay, we stand corrected. We weren't sure, so that's going to be a first down.
He did make the first down. He just didn't break the plane of the goal.
That's
so
right.
No touchdown, but they do get a fresh set of downs.
You know, the Vikings offense came out onto the field thinking that they had not made it, and so it confused us, but the first and goal.
And they're going to have to hurry if they want to try to punch this in before the end of the quarter. There's less than 30 seconds now.
That's right, 25 seconds left in this beautiful first quarter. First and goal. Run right up the middle. And that's good for a touchdown.
That was Leo Navarro, the senior, who went into that one. And that's his 9th rushing TD of the season.
So Mountain View comes back at the end of the first quarter with 15 seconds left. 6-6 with 1 PAT left for Mountain View.
Or are they going to try for 2 here? Nope, they're going to go for the field.
Diego Bunce for the PAT. And oh, that bounces off the left upright. That's no good. So we have a 2 missed PAT, 1 blocked and 1 missed PAT. So we have a tied football game. 15 seconds left in the first quarter, 6-6.
Now, how often do you see that, where you got a blocked point after and then a point after that hits the goalposts? I don't remember ever seeing that in any level of football in the space of 1 quarter.
Well, maybe they're just nervous. It is a big game for both of them, and you know, you think that these players have been playing a long time, but these big games mean a lot to these players.
No doubt.
Josh Butler, Jameer Cooper in the backfield for the return. Diego Bunce for the Spartans kicker.
It'll be interesting to see what Mountain View does. There's only 15 seconds left in the first quarter. If they get an exceptional run, they might take 1 shot at the end zone. But if they're in their own territory, they may just run the ball and let the clock expire. Oh, it's an onside kick.
A little squib kick there, picked up. I'm not sure if that was an onside or just an intentional squib or a missed kick.
That was a squib kick. Onside would have been much shorter. So
yeah,
afraid I misspoke there. But I believe it was Jameer Cooper who handled that one. And Jameer is a freshman playing on the varsity. That's another thing you don't see that often.
First and 10 Palo Alto. 8 seconds left in this first quarter. Handoff to Josh Butler. Josh actually makes some good progress on the right side, enough for a first goal. And with that, we have the end of the first quarter, 6-6. All right, we're back. First and 10 Vikings on their own 34-yard line.
You know, Mark, I'm really struck. This was an excellent first quarter that we just saw. 1 turnover, 1 penalty apiece, 1 touchdown apiece, and 1 missed or blocked PAT apiece.
And we have a pass that falls to the ground incomplete and a flag on the ground.
And that was headed, they threw that flag right at the line of scrimmage, so that may have been a hold of some kind, and
holding
it was.
Against Palo Alto, so they're going to go a little bit backwards on this. You know, so often these games are in the details. Palo Alto coach Nelson Gifford actually was sick this week, so he couldn't attend any of the team practices. He had the flu. He's fortunately healthy tonight. Just a regular flu, nothing worse than that. But you got to wonder, not having your head coach at practice, how much is that going to affect the team, or could he communicate to his assistant coaches, and how much does that affect the ability of the Vikings to really retrench their game strategy?
Well, a lot of it's going to have to do with the chemistry that the team's already built up among themselves.
Snap to Peters. He bobbles it a little bit, jumps up, and he runs out to the left. But he gets stopped pretty quickly there. Kevin Conway on the tackle. And Kevin is actually getting pretty far back. I don't know if it was just bobbling the snap or he was planning on taking up left anyway, but they clearly cost him a few precious seconds, which obviously Mountain View took advantage of.
Well, you know, a couple of plays back, he had all day. That was before that holding penalty. So the offensive line of the Vikings, knowing their job, whether they can execute it consistently remains to be seen. That's a shovel pass, and looks like it was incomplete.
Brody Simison couldn't quite get a hand on it. That fell down. So they're going to bring that back. We're now going to be third and about 17. 11 minutes left in this half. You know, this has been a season of upsets. You know, St. Francis beat De La Salle. We talked about how last time these two teams played, Mountain View beat Palo Alto for the first time in 20 years. You know, the whole high school order of football is really being shooken up a little bit, in part because of COVID and the roster changes. But you got to wonder, you know, as you see, how much of this is also because of the coaching staff. We're seeing Gunn High School, you know, which a few years ago was a perennial loser, and now is quite frankly a powerhouse.
It just goes to show that in high school and in college, too, you only have the kids for 4 years, and then they're off someplace else. And then it's a constant state of rebuilding that you don't necessarily have in pro leagues, where you can have a player for 5 years or longer. But it means that there's a new set of chemistry that has to be built up between the squads or within the squads. Coaches will have an impact on that, but a lot of it is going to depend on how the teams gel over the course of the season. And that's something that's not, Mark, always seen in the win-loss record.
That's right.
It's not something that you can measure or quantify, but the proof is always in the pudding when they're on the field together.
Well, the other thing that's happened is with COVID, you had smaller rosters on the varsity, so a lot of the JV got called up, and a lot of these younger players are getting a lot more reps a lot earlier. And so I wonder if you're going to see that really come to fruition next year as some of these younger players become juniors and seniors with a lot more experience, quite frankly. Short pass completion. Simpson, Danny Peters to Simpson.
And that's going to be still short of the first down, though. They're looking at a 4th and 4, and I have a feeling they're going to kick it away.
That's
here.
right. Again, that holding penalty cost them 10 yards. That's going to be enough for them to have to punt this away.
That's the second penalty that.
And a kick, and that's headed. That's going to get a good Palo Alto bounce. And nobody in Mountain View wants to touch it, so that's going to stop about at the 24-yard line. 1st and 10 Mountain View, 6-6, 10:26 left in this half. 1st and 10 Mountain View. Handoff to Leo Navarro. Jack Newman for the Vikings saw that, anticipated it, and tackled for a loss of about a yard, 2nd and 11. Steffens was thinking about passing it, but he's going to get sacked in the backfield.
Yeah, that's just seemed
see
like
the replay and who got the sack on that, but that was a good play.
that just seemed like bad execution on the part of the offensive line. Let's have a look at that again. Yeah, the pocket collapsed all
Jack
the way
Newman
around.
on the sack there. Good one for him, and that's good enough for a loss. And so that's going to bring up 3rd and 14 now.
Four wide receivers.
Catch by Joe Brown again. And Joe's able to make a little bit of that up, but not enough. So he's going to get stopped after about a 6-yard run. That's going to leave 4th and 6 as the Mountain View punt squad comes onto the field. Butler again for the Vikings in the backfield for the return.
Is that Henry Miranda who's doing the punting? No.
Good kick.
No, it's James Rodriguez King, sorry.
Alex Bourne on the return on that. And they're able to bring that out to about the 45-yard line.
James
1st and 10, Palo Alto.
Rodriguez King, who just did the punting. Okay, that's only the 2nd punt he's had to do, which says a lot for the way that the offense has been able to execute. That they haven't really needed his services all that much. Longest he ever kicked was 30 yards, and he's never had a kick blocked.
Danny Peters, that throw is going to fall short, intended for Jameer Cooper, just underthrown.
I don't
2nd
think
and 10.
Yeah, I don't think Peters had a really good handle on that one, because that may have spun out of his hand the wrong way. Because it's certainly within his range.
Good crowd tonight on both sides.
Well, they saw the same break in the weather that we did, Mark.
2nd and 10. Take advantage while you can. Josh Butler. Josh actually a good run up the left-hand side. And he gets pushed out, but that's going to be enough for a 1st down as Josh gets into Spartan territory. They're going to put that on the 43-yard line, 1st and 10, Palo Alto.
That was awfully fast that he managed to get around the left end and had a whole bunch of black jerseys chasing him, but nobody really got a handle on him until at least he got to near the sidelines.
Peters keeps it and overthrows it a little bit. That's going to fall incomplete. Intended for Jameer Cooper. 2nd and 10 now. You know, critical series for the Vikings. They really want to end this half. We got some time left, a little less than 8 minutes, but if they could get another score and get a lead, I mean, that would be huge for them, especially because they were the underdogs.
You know, you mentioned Jameer Cooper, and I talked about him earlier also. He's one of the people you were alluding to earlier. He's only a freshman, so he's a beneficiary of some of the changes that came about from COVID.
Screen pass to 34, but he gets brought down pretty quickly.
It was interesting, Mark. Did you see that the screen pass was not downfield? It was more of a swing pass over to the left side, but it was totally covered by Mountain View. So it's an unusual variation on a screen pass, and it didn't work out for the Vikings.
And that's going to be a loss of about 8 yards on that. That's going to put the ball back into Viking territory on the 49-yard line.
Coming up on 3rd and 18, I think.
3rd and long there. Again, they really need to capitalize on these opportunities.
Whole bunch of wide receivers on this one.
Intended and caught by Tommy Butler. Good play, and that's enough not only to make up for loss, but get another first down for the Vikings.
Beautiful post pattern on that last one.
Good throw, and so they're going to spot that about on the 28-yard line. Very important 3rd down conversion.
Maybe we can see that again. And that
just
was
well thrown and well caught.
Well thought, and it was well covered also, because that is 6 points if you don't have your cornerback on that play.
Oh, nice catch there by Brody Simonson. He just sort of got an arm on that, so great catch. It wasn't for a large, but I got to think that really looks like Danny Peters is beginning to find his rhythm.
Yes, and he's beginning to see what the Mountain View defensive scheme is like. On the play before that, Mark, Kevin Conway had some great coverage. Otherwise, we'd be in a 12-6 game.
2nd and 6. Handoff. Josh Butler takes it up the right-hand side. Able to make some good progress. We're going to see where they actually spot that, and that's going to be another first down for the Palo Alto Vikings.
You know, Mark, the thing that I mentioned, you mentioned Danny Peters a minute ago. They've also managed to establish the run, which is something that Mountain View hasn't done quite as effectively so far.
Mike, we've talked about before how important momentum is, especially for these high school teams, and clearly it looks like Palo Alto has the momentum on this series.
Yes, it does. Both the run and the pass.
Good run up the right-hand side, a keeper by Danny Peters, and Danny is able to get about 5 yards into that. And give more now. I can actually give 9 yards, 2nd and 1, and they're going to spot the ball on the 7-yard line. So good position, very important stop for Mountain View if they want to keep this game tied.
Yeah, Mountain View needs to respond right now. They need to dial up some blitzes, and they need to counteract the passing game.
Handoff again to Josh Butler, but Mountain View saw that and got the stop.
I think that was Aiden Gefkin who was in on that.
And that's going to be tackled at the line of scrimmage, bringing up 3rd and 1. That was handed off to Josh Butler. Josh gets stopped again and tackled for loss. Pushed back and bringing up 4 and 5 as the ball's on the 10-yard line.
And now it's decision time for the Vikings. Are they going to try to get the 3, or are they going to try to take one more shot at the end zone? So far, that area of the field has not been great for 4th down conversions.
Although Mountain View in the first quarter actually made a 4th and short, actually was able to get 6 points out of this. And so Mountain View took the risk, and it benefited them. And looks like Palo Alto's going to try and do the same thing. Peters is getting squeezed out of the pocket. He's going to run up the right-hand side, but he is going to be stopped. And we will have to see.
Pushed out of bounds, and I don't know.
First down for Palo Alto. Palo Alto just by a little bit. It looks like about a foot or so. Is able to get the first down on that.
That says a lot for Danny Peters, that he was able to figure out what his spot was, sees the defense coming, and is able to get just where he needs to for a fresh set of downs.
First and goal. Peters is running up the left, and he's trying to spin his way through. Nothing coming. Matter of fact, he's going to lose 2 or 3 on that.
That was well covered by the Spartans. And we have a Spartan player who's slow to get up.
So we're going to take a timeout. We will come back.
That's Andre Guimarães that's a little slow, a little shaken up.
Okay, second and goal, ball on the 5-yard line. 2:53 left in the half. Tied ball game 6-6. Vikings have been in the red zone for about 7 plays now. Peters scrambling, throws it, and that's a good touchdown for Palo Alto Vikings.
Great second effort there by the wide receiver.
As you can see, Peters has scrambled, almost tackled, but is able to get the ball away, and not only get the ball away, but score a touchdown.
And the receiver there was Tommy Butler, who was stopped short but was able to bounce off the would-be tackler and get over the line. And I think they've just scored the PAT.
Gerardo Becerra is good for the PAT. So with 2:44 left in the second quarter, this will surprise some. Palo Alto Vikings take a 13-6 lead over the Mountain View Spartans.
And Mark, that's the first successful PAT we've had all night.
No, I'm interested to see that we were expecting really just either run dominated by both teams, but we're seeing a pretty balanced offense on both sides on this.
Well, the Palo Alto offense, I've noticed, is that they're not relying, they've become a much more two-dimensional team than maybe we were expecting, because they know on third down conversions, they've been having these 3-receiver, 4-receiver sets, and sometimes it hasn't worked because of really good Palo Alto or Mountain View blitzing and coverage, but other times they've been able to convert very effectively and, in some cases, score points.
That's right. You know, and the Palo Alto coach really talked about it, how he wanted to not be a one-dimensional team today. And it looks like his strategy's been successful. All right, we're back to the action.
Let's see if Mountain View can try to get
Becerra
some points in themselves.
For another squib kick, and that actually works out pretty well for them. Except he gets picked up. Dylan Daniels all the way down, making his way, keeping in bounds, cutting back all the way down, and finally gets brought down at about the 2-yard line. One heck of a return for Dylan Daniels on that.
That is just amazing, and that is exactly what Mountain View needed at that point. Down 7 in their own backyard. Let's take a look at this again.
And notice it bounces over. Daniels gets it, and he not only eludes a number of different tackles, but he does a wonderful job of staying in bounds and not getting pushed out.
Shifted gears right there to get away from that tackler.
Another step, he would have had a touchdown, but again, one heck of a return.
And Luke Young, the last man possible, he was the one who brought Dylan down on that.
So first and goal for Mountain View. And they're going to run that right in. Touchdown. Leo Navarro, another touchdown for Leo Navarro. And so after that score, Mountain View comes right back and puts 6 more points back onto the board.
And all of that took a maybe 20 seconds.
2:25 left in the half. And I got to think that Mountain View's obviously going to go for the PAT here.
Well, we'll see. No, I think that it looks like they're going to go for the 2-point conversion.
Wow.
Well, to take the lead if they're successful.
And Leo Navarro again for the PAT. And so risky move, but that's going to bring up Mountain View. 2:25 left, 14-13. Spartans over the Vikings. All right, we're back. Diego Bunce for the kick for Mountain View. Jameer Cooper and Brody Simonson in the backfield for the return.
This is becoming a truly classic game so far, Mark.
It's good to see two teams playing well and playing hard. And with that, we got Brody Simonson running all the way out to midfield. Finally gets brought down just as he enters into Mountain View territory. But they're going to spot that all the way out in the Mountain View 40, let's call it the 46-yard line.
You know, those returns are so important for the morale of a team when they're down or when they've just been scored on, because it makes them realize they're in a position to strike back. The lucky thing for both teams is that they haven't had to rely on one-off plays like kickoff returns or punt returns or even turnovers. We've only had one turnover tonight.
This is just good football. 2:15 left, so plenty of time. Now, Vikings have used all their timeouts. And that's a short completion to Lucas Black. We haven't seen a lot of Lucas Black tonight, but good for another first down for the Vikings.
Well, you know, Lucas Black is a big guy, 6'4", 215. That's his 7th catch of the season, but he racks up almost 52 yards per game. So we'll see more of him tonight.
Peters. And another throw, that's going to fall incomplete.
I think somebody on the Mountain View side got a piece of that one.
And that was intended for Jameer Cooper, but Peters looks more and more comfortable throwing the ball. He's, you know, being decisive. He's being somewhat fairly accurate, if not getting a piece on it. So different than what we're used to. Handoff. Josh Butler, the ball carrier, but he's brought down by David Lopez. And David was able to tackle for loss of about 3 yards, 3rd and 13 now.
David Lopez, also a big guy. I don't have any defensive statistics on him, but I know that on the other side of the ball, he lines up as a center. So he's certainly capable of stopping a runner if he needs to.
Short completion and caught. Again to Lucas Black.
I think that's going to bring him a first down, Mark.
See where they spot that. And you are indeed correct, Mike. So that's another first down for the Vikings. 1:18 left in the quarter. The clock continues to move forward. No timeouts left, so they've really got to hurry up.
Well, Palo Alto doesn't want to go into the locker room, so to speak, down any points to this Mountain View squad. They want to be ahead.
So they get stopped. Josh Butler, the ball carrier on this. And so Josh was tackled for short loss, but I'm worried about the yard. Palo Alto has to be worried about the yardage and the time on the clock.
Well, they're going to have to spike it if they want to get any sort of pause in play.
Don't
right now, they're just letting it roll right now.
Being very casual about it, as teenagers are apt to be. Oh, that was intended. Short pass, actually pretty good throw, just very well defended.
Very well defended, and right on the edge of pass interference, but no flag. I think Palo Alto wanted one.
Momin Maroff for the Vikings is the intended receiver, but that at least stops the clock with 28 seconds left. It's going to be 3rd and 12. How many times have we seen these 3rd and long plays?
You know, I was just about to ask you the same question, but Palo Alto has been pretty successful with them so far.
Both sides actually have. Willing to throw the ball, and that is caught for a touchdown.
Amazing catch and amazing precision there from the quarterback.
Tommy Butler for the Vikings on the completion and the run for the touchdown. So as you said, they're going to go up in the locker room unless
Well, they're going to go up ahead no matter what. But
well, we 21 seconds left in this game. Who knows what can happen? And that is good for the PAT. Okay, 21 seconds left in this second half. Palo Alto takes a 20-14 lead over Mountain View Spartans.
But you know, Mark, you were saying it's been good football. It's been good, clean football. We've only had 3 penalties, 1 turnover, a lot of good kickoff returns, but those haven't been the total bread and butter of any or of either team. They've been relying on teamwork, and they've been relying on good play calling and good coverage. Can't ask for more than that, can you?
On both sides, both on the offense.
On both sides, that's right.
And the defense is doing their job too, and that's why we have such a one possession ball game at this point.
Well, speaking of run backs, Mountain View could use a good one right about now.
Well, not a lot of time left, but you never know. And I got to wonder, the last 2 kicks have been squib kicks. Is this part of Palo Alto's strategy? Just hitting squib kicks all night.
Well, they've been handled so far. So maybe you go back to booming the kicks.
The last one was returned at the right point.
Right, yeah.
Just a little longer than Palo Alto wanted on that return, but we'll see.
Nope. Deep kick.
There we go. That's going to pop up. And actually, really good Palo Alto bounce.
Yeah.
And a flag down. Somebody held. That's my guess. We'll see.
Or it may have been some unnecessary roughness on the return.
We'll have to see what the officials say. And they are conferring there. Maybe that kick was not touched. I thought it was a touch before it went out of bounds, but maybe it was out of bounds kick.
Yeah, I thought so too. Well, they gathered over by the 10-yard line.
They're looking at that, so they are saying it's Mountain View's ball.
Although Mountain View's walking backwards, so this may be on the Spartans.
First down. All right, so that was out of bounds. Nobody did touch it. It just rolled out and down. They're going to wave off the flag.
Okay. Still, if Mountain View wants to put some points on the board, they better heave it pretty far, pretty quick.
Well, on the other hand, they are so close to their own end zone. You also don't want to do anything foolish here. A pick at this part of the field could result in a score. So,
yeah, they may want to just run the ball and let the clock expire. And it looks like they just took a knee there.
That's right, and they're going to let this clock run down. All right. 10 seconds left, and that's going to end this first half. So 2 good quarters of football. The underdog Palo Alto Vikings take a 20-14 lead over the Mountain View Spartans. We'll see you in the next half. Okay, welcome back. We are back to start the third quarter. Again, Palo Alto Vikings have a 20-14 lead over the Mountain View Spartans. Palo Alto's offense has been one-dimensional and struggled really since the Santa Clara game that they had earlier, and their coach, Coach Gifford, was quoted in the local newspaper that establishing the run game was a huge point of emphasis for him and his team.
And that's exactly what they've done, Mark. I mean, they have established the run, and they've also done well in passing situations.
And we have another squib kick there that gets picked up and stopped.
But this time it's coming from Mountain View, not from Palo Alto.
I guess squib kicks are popular tonight.
The thing that I like most about the action tonight, Mark, is that both teams have earned every point that they have. There's not a whole lot of flukes, not a whole lot of penalties, just 1 turnover, There have been some good run backs, but it's been a well-fought game.
Yeah, but the run backs have been just because of good running, because of not because significantly missed assignments or anything else like that. It's just been some good ball playing.
Yeah, I guess what I'm saying is that they have been good team efforts on both sides of the ball so far
Very much
tonight.
agree. Okay, 1st and 10. Handoff.
Oh, laundry all over the place on that one.
And that was Josh Butler's the ball carrier, but we'll see what these yellow things on the field are going to mean. Holding against the Vikings, so that's going to be 10 yards against them. Repeat 1st down, leaving them 1st and 20. Palo Alto started their first league game with a fairly strong blowout of Santa Clara, 63-13. So there was some fairly high optimism, but have since lost 2 in a row. So they're really coming back to this knowing that they know how to win. It's just, as it always is, comes down to execution.
Well, yeah, and as you said at the top of the program, Mark, they were blanked by Los Gatos in their last game. So they've certainly seen the downside of things as well.
Oh, that is a pick. We've got Kevin Conway on the pick for Mountain View. And that was not poorly thrown, but quite frankly, well defended. And Conway saw the opportunity and jumped right on it.
And that's perfect for Kevin Conway because he is a baseball player. So he's used to catching balls that are thrown his way, and he just came away with one. And that means we've got evened up the turnovers.
That's
one
right.
apiece.
And so that's going to end up the ball on the Viking 40, 1st and 10, Mountain View. Handoff to Navarro again, and he's going to squeeze maybe 3 yards up the right-hand side on that.
Well, Navarro's having a great night. He did punch it in for the Spartans in the first half, and he also ran it in for the 2-point conversion. So he's definitely an offensive weapon, and it looks like he's just picking up right where he left off.
Navarro leads rushing with 725 yards this season with 8 touchdowns at the beginning of the game and 2 since then. And we've got a good run right up the right-hand side, all the way out to the 14. Again,
and look who it was.
Leo Navarro. We are so busy talking about Leo Navarro, and Leo Navarro, again, the ball carrier, 1st down, Mountain View, into the red zone on the 14, 1st and 10.
And Leo's playing one of his last games as a Mountain View Spartan, Mark. He is a senior. This may be the last time he ever suits up against the Palo Alto Vikings.
Handoff again to Navarro. Navarro looks like he should have gotten enough for the 1st down. We see where they spot it. If not, it's going to be yes. No, it's going to be 2nd and about a yard. So, but that's spotted on the 5-yard line. 2nd and 1. 10 minutes left in this 3rd quarter.
And I think they're going to get Dylan Daniels into this next play, Mark, because he's just come onto the field. They may let Navarro take a rest.
Handoff to James Rodriguez King, and King got some yards on it, not in the end zone, but it looks like, and we'll see where the spot is, and it's another 1st down for that, but we have a flag on the field. Personal foul face mask, and that's going to go against the Spartans. So had they not made the yardage anyway, they would have made it with
I think they meant that's against the Vikings.
Yes, did I say, I meant to say the Vikings. So that's 1st and 10, half the distance to the goal line, and they're going to bring that all the way to about the 1-yard line. And that's going to be a touchdown for Mountain View. Dylan Daniels is still down, though. So
Did Dellin take the run this last time?
I think he was. There was a whole group of them, but we'll see. And all the Mountain View players. We'll go take a look at this, and we will come back. All right, we're back, and the replay machine, Dylan Daniels was the ball carrier. The good news is he got the touchdown. The bad news is he was hurt. He is walking off the field on his own power, which is always good to see. But Dylan Daniels exits a very strong night with the touchdown, and we'll see if he can get better pretty quickly. All right, we have a 20-20 ball game. And Mountain View is going to go for the PAT. Diego Bunce, the kicker. Good kicks right up the middle. 9:33 left in the third quarter. Mountain View Spartans lead 21-20 over Palo Alto Vikings in a very close football game.
And again, a team effort on both sides of the ball, and let's hope it continues that way. And the viewing audience is seeing a true classic tonight, Mark.
That's right. You know, coming into the season, the Spartans had a lot of holes to fill after graduation. You know, the senior Jackson Steffen, the quarterback, stepped up. He's an All-Bay area honorable mention. According to his coach, Steffen has a good at managing the game, smart, talented, and strong, per Coach Smith. And so he's been a real strong addition to this team. A lot of really good standout players on this Mountain View team.
You know, talking about Jackson Steffen, this is something I think I mentioned earlier. He came into the game with 14 passing touchdowns. He has over 100 yards passing per game, and he's never had a pass picked off.
That's incredible. Okay, Diego Bunce for the kick. Jameer Cooper and Brody Simonson in the backfield for the return. And that one is going to bounce out of bounds, and the flag goes out.
I think they're going to mark that at about the 15.
Yeah, but with the penalty flag going out in the kick, they're going to move that up. I don't think they're going to ask for the kick.
You were talking about Diego Bunce, who just made the kicker. He's not known for doing kickoffs as much as he is for field goals or PATs. Coming into tonight, he had made 34 out of 37 PATs.
That's very consistent. There's a lot of NFL kickers that would like that record.
And a lot of college kickers, too.
All right, 35-yard line. Vikings take over, 1st and 10. Hand off to Josh Butler, but he gets stopped right away.
That felt like it was a delayed handoff.
It was long enough, obviously, for the Mountain View defensive line to see what was going on, and that's going to be a loss of about a yard.
Yeah, I can see that the linebackers read the play pretty quickly.
2nd and 10. And a throw and a completion behind the line of scrimmage, but gets spun down.
Oh, wow. Amazing coverage there.
Good tackle by Andre Guimaraes from Mountain View. And that's going to be tackled for loss for about a yard. So, again, Palo Alto had the momentum in the second quarter. They really need to pick up the momentum now in the third quarter.
Andre Guimaraes, a lot of tackles, a lot of solo tackles. He gets about 6 tackles per game, and he's caused at least 1 fumble. So he's a good defensive man to have on the field right now.
3rd and 11. We have a good pass, a completion, caught. Runs out past midfield down to the 42. Lucas Black again.
And Lucas Black is, I think, the second tallest member of this Palo Alto team. He's 6'4", 215.
Some big guys on the Palo Alto.
Well, let's see. So he kind of had to jump for that one, but it's pretty clear that Danny Peters knows what his receivers can and can't do.
Peters on the handoff, and that goes to Butler. Butler runs up the left-hand side, finally gets stopped about the 20-yard line. Joe Brown pulling him down, but that's going to be good for another first down for Palo Alto Vikings. And we were just talking a few plays ago about how Palo Alto had to pick up the momentum, and it looks like they found it.
Let's take a look at that again. That was just great execution by the Palo Alto offensive line to create that hole, and it was great reactivity for him to cut out to the left side and pick up what had to be at least 15 yards, maybe 20.
Butler's a little slow to get up, so it looks like he's going to take a play or two out.
And I think Brody Simpson is coming in for him.
All right, so that's going to leave 1st and 10. Ball on the Mountain View 22-yard line. Peters is going to throw it. And we'll see if he came up with that. Lucas Black again.
I think he did.
Very nice catch, a diving catch, able to hold on to it, bring it down to the ground.
Now that was not well defended, Mark, by the secondary, because Peters was just, or excuse me, the wide receiver was there. He kind of waited for that ball, and had it been better covered, that might have been either knocked up or intercepted.
But it wasn't, and it's good, and 1st and goal for the Vikings. Peters handoff. And that goes right to Charlie Hoke, and Charlie's got it for another touchdown. So Palo Alto comes right back and marches down the field and scores with 6:37 in the 3rd quarter. This is a back and forth. This is a great football game against two different teams that are playing well and trying hard. And the kick by Becerra is good, so that's going to give the Vikings 27-21, 6:37 left, and we'll come back. All right, we're back. Becerra for the kick. Min Kant in the backfield. Dinelay, but that is going to roll out of bounds, and the penalty markers fly, so we're going to see that ball end up in the 35-yard line.
Well, what we're seeing continually is a team effort, and it is back and forth. Neither side really has an overwhelming advantage. I mean, I realize that Palo Alto has an advantage in terms of points on the board, but Mountain View has everything they need right now to even that score up or to take the lead by 1 point.
Both of these teams came into this game with a very definitive strategy, and they both seem to be executing that strategy well. Palo Alto wants to be more than one-dimensional. They're doing that, and likewise, we're seeing a very strong run game by Mountain View, as well as in mixing with a good passing game.
And Mountain View is doing a good job at wearing down.
Right.
Which is what they wanted to do when they came in. We were talking about that at the top of the program.
You know, I think it's very important. Early in the season, Mountain View had a loss, and Coach Shelley Smith really made a point to his team saying, what can we do to learn from this loss? He went and talked to his players, and they all talked about it, and they said, let's see. And they lost by just a little bit. A player down on the field, so we're going to have a timeout.
Yeah, Mountain View did come back, and they beat Los Altos fairly handily.
I was going to say, quite an upset. And that was a very important game, the Pride Bowl between the two of them.
Mm-hmm. There is a Pally player who's down. I can't see who it is.
So we're going to take a timeout, and we'll get back. Okay, the down player was Horacio Becerra. Fortunately, it looks like it's just a cramp because he's walking out on his own power. So we're back. Ball is on the 41-yard line.
And Palo Alto actually has 2 nose tackles listed on their roster. So it's the next man up. That's the attitude at Palo Alto High School.
Stefan on the handoff. And Navarro didn't get much out of that one. I'm not even sure he made it back to the line of scrimmage. No, he went back about a foot or two, and so that's going to bring up 3rd and 5. Jackson Stephan coming back in. Stephan with keep, moving it up the right-hand side, going down the 40, going down the 30. Jackson Stephan going down the 10, finally gets brought down about the 4-yard line. Heck of a run there for Jackson Stephan on the right-hand side. He found the hole, he made advantage of that, and that is going to put them right back in the ballgame.
Well, take a look at the Palo Alto defense. They're looking run, they're looking left side. They do not see this coming at all. And Jackson Stephan with that speed, we almost had another tie game, Mark, and we're maybe headed to that right now.
That's right. Stephan really, his eyes were left, and obviously the defenders went that way, and he went right, and that was enough for him to get the run. So 1st and 10. Navarro, the ball carrier. Let's see if he made any. Maybe he made a couple yards on that. Okay, that's good. That's going to bring up 2nd and goal. The ball about on the 4-yard line.
Palo Alto with their backs to the wall here, but
interesting how the energy is really shifting on each side with each series.
Well,
again, Navarro, the ball carrier, he's going to get close.
I think he's short,
but not quite enough. So, yeah, it looks like they're going to put him about on the 1-yard line or 2-yard line.
Mark, what I was going to say is that I think when each offense gets the ball, they realize that the other defense can't stop them. So I think there's a realization they're always going to get some points on the board as long as they don't make any dumb mistakes, and so far there haven't been too many of those.
That's true, and most of these drives have ended up in a score. We've only had a few turnovers on downs or punts, but...
Oh, I think Palo Alto jumped. Or was there a timeout called?
I saw a flag go down.
Okay, I think that may have been offside. And it was.
Encroachment, yes, by Palo Alto. Again, if you're on the 2-yard line, well, I don't know. If you're a yard closer, you're going to get that much closer. Does that make a big difference on a play like this? Does that make the quarterback sneak that much easier because all you have now is basically a half-yard to go?
No, I think it's more psychological. Numerically, you're right. It doesn't really, it's kind of a wash.
And they go right up the middle. And we have a touchdown for Mountain View. It is, as you predicted, a tie ball game. 27-27 with 3:17 left in the 3rd quarter.
And again, a drive that ends in points. And again, a situation where the defense is not able to stop the offense. or hold them to field goals.
But it's not as if the defense is performing poorly. It's just that we've got some very strong offenses that are executing well.
And there's a lot of confidence because, as they say, nothing succeeds like success.
Right. Diego Bunce for the PAT. Kevin Conway, the holder. And that is good. All right, so, you know, it's interesting to see if this game will come back to that 1 2-point conversion that Mountain View had. They took the risk for the 2-point conversion instead of the PAT early in the first quarter. And even though they've matched Palo Alto touchdown to touchdown, because they went for the 2-point, they're ahead by 1 point. I wonder if that will be the deciding factor later in this game.
Too soon to tell for right now, but so far it's been the difference.
Palo Alto really has a great legacy of great football players. I'm a Palo Alto alumnus, you know, and when I was there, Jim Harbaugh was a player. And so Jim Harbaugh, obviously very good football player, quarterback, and played for the Bears, but obviously did a little bit of coaching about thereafter. So,
well, coached at University of San Diego, coached at Stanford, led them to the Orange Bowl and at least one other bowl game. And then coached the 49ers, took them to the Super Bowl. And now he is at his alma mater, University of Michigan.
Although it should be pointed out that Smart Money has Michigan State taking over University of Michigan in the game next weekend. So just a little bit of a color analysis on that one.
Wouldn't surprise me a bit.
All right. Bunce for the kick. Good kick back there. Jameer Cooper running up the right-hand side, but he's going to be pushed out somewhere around about the 28-yard line.
And it's a short return. We haven't had too many of those for a little while. So now Palo Alto is going to have to travel up 70-some-odd yards without that kind of cushion that they had before.
With the drive score we're seeing, I'm wondering out loud, should the defense pick up and get a stop, could that be the difference? And could that then upset?
Only if they're able to capitalize on it.
Snap to Peters. Peters runs up the left-hand side, finds a pocket up the middle, but gets stopped. Chase Bandy on the stop, and Peters wasn't able to find too much on that. And it looks like we've got a player down. Andre Gumares.
And he's holding his head. That's not a good sign.
So we will come back in just a minute. Well, if there's any good news with the player injury, it's Gumares is limping off. It doesn't appear to be his head, and maybe a sprained ankle or something, but he's limping off on his own power. We'll always take a leg injury over a head injury.
Oh, yeah.
All right, second and about 4. Ball sits on the 35-yard line. Vikings look to reestablish their momentum on this drive. Handoff to Charlie Hoke. Charlie spins a bit, but I think he just barely gets back to the line of scrimmage on that one.
I think he may have picked up a couple on that, Mark. And a good second effort to make something out of nothing. I think that's going to bring it to...
No, you're right. Okay, yeah, he was able to pick out a couple, so that's going to bring 3rd and 1 left.
Good second effort there again.
But yet another critical 3rd down conversion. How many of those have we seen today?
This one is more critical than any of the rest of them so far, because Palo Alto, if they're going to not turn it over on downs this far in their territory, they're going to need to get it.
Handoff.
And he does.
Charlie Hoke again, and Charlie actually finds the hole and makes it through and is able to get enough for a 1st down and a little bit extra, putting the ball on the 46-yard line.
You know, this is only Charlie's second game playing, but he's already, you know, equaled or probably gone over his total rushing yards in the last game. So he's a late bloomer, but it's working for him.
1st and 10. Long bomb down the field, and that's going to fall a little bit long. Brody Simonson there for the intended receiver. Brody's actually, unfortunately, he's limping a little bit off. It looks like the last part of that, he may have sprained something, so Brody's walking off the field.
Sprained or strained. Did you notice, Mark, how much time Danny Peters had on that last pass?
A lot of time in the pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And he obviously wanted to make something of it, so hence the long pass.
Mm-hmm. I mean, just watch whatever rushes they have were picked up really well.
All right, 2nd and 10.
He didn't have to hurry that. I think he had more time.
Another pass completed to Lucas Black.
No, I think that was marked incomplete.
You are correct. They're going to bring that back.
Yeah, although that fooled me. I thought he might have hauled that one down. And yet again, we're in a 3rd down conversion.
Another 3rd and long this time. This would be a very important stop for Mountain View, especially if they can capitalize on this.
Well, and also they may be missing one of their wide receivers who limped off a moment ago. And maybe a delay of game there.
And we're going to guess something like that. We'll see. The flag flies. False start. Okay, so that's not good. If you're 3rd and 10 and making it 3rd and 15 because you have a false start, it makes it all the more difficult.
Mark, in and of themselves, those penalties haven't made a huge difference, but that is the 6th penalty that Mountain View has racked up, or that Palo Alto has racked up tonight. Mountain View just 1 penalty.
And those, you know, in such a close game, those can make a huge difference.
Well, especially as you were saying, on a conversion like this, now they've got almost twice as difficult a job.
And we've got the pass. Long down the field. And
Beautiful
that was intended
defense
for Jameer Cooper, but defended and knocked down by Leo Navarro. And he did it well enough. No flags coming out on that one, but just really disrupted that.
Now, clean,
good throw.
Defense, yeah.
Right position, and he just reaches in and slaps that ball down. And so they are going to have to punt.
And that one was almost blocked.
And that is going to roll out about the 21-yard line.
Well, Palo Alto, I think that may be the first time we've seen either team get stopped on a drive for a little while now.
50 seconds left in this 3rd quarter. Again, Mountain View leads 28-27 over Palo Alto by just a point.
And Palo Alto needs a defensive stop right now.
And likewise, Mountain View, if they can keep their momentum and at least get to midfield or farther. Stephen hands it off to Leo Navarro. I wonder if we're going to see a lot of running on this series. It just seems like Mountain View is comfortable running the ball. They feel like the defensive line is getting a little tired. The linebackers get a little tired. Maybe they're just going to slow and sure run it.
If I were their coach, I wouldn't be doing that until the 4th quarter or maybe the last 8 minutes in the game. You know, they don't want to start that too soon, especially because they've still got the ball in their territory and they're only up by a score.
Handoff again, running.
And he did
Dylan
not get.
Daniels gets brought down.
He did not get there.
Lincoln Tudor on the stop for Palo Alto. First time we've heard Lincoln's name tonight, but that's going to be end of the third quarter. We have 12 minutes of football left. 28-27, and we will come back. Okay, short distance to make, and they run the ball up the middle, except looks like we got a flag down.
They made enough yardage, but
That's going to be a false start, and that's going to hurt again. You know, they're 3rd and 1, and now with that false start, they're going to be 3rd and 6. Again, these penalties are making these third down conversions harder for these teams. Obviously, an important stop for Palo Alto. Very evenly matched teams tonight, and we're seeing a lot of mirror action on both sides.
So now we got ourselves a 3rd and 7.
Oh, pass intended for Joe Brown, but that can't quite, a little bit overthrown, a little bit high. That's going to fall down, and that's going to bring down 4th down, and the punt squad comes onto the field. So we had a series of very successful drives on both sides.
And now Palo Alto is going to get the ball back.
Palo Alto had a turnover on downs, and now Mountain View's going to have a turnover on downs. And so.
And they've got Brody Simison, who's been all over the field tonight.
Oh, at trick play, they did not punt it.
And I don't think they got there.
I don't think they got there. They fooled us. We were looking downfield.
That took a lot of
James
guts.
Rodriguez King couldn't quite get enough, and so
well,
he's
that
short
was
by about a yard.
That was a gamble that didn't pay off, and now Palo Alto is within beautiful striking distance, within the 30-yard line.
Not quite within field goal range, but
well, a field goal wouldn't do them much. Well, actually, it would. Now, come to think of it.
Handoff to Charlie Hoke, and Charlie makes his way, a pretty good run up there, about 7 yards. Maybe call it 6 yards.
Charlie Hoke is 6'1", but he does not have the physique of a typical fullback. That's what he's lined up as, but he resembles more of a tailback, classic tailback, than a fullback.
Oh, and we have a dropped snap. Very dangerous, but Danny Peters was able to get back on that.
Loss of about 3 on that one, I think, Mark.
Yeah, loss of 3 and loss of a down. Another 3rd and long.
Well,
Palo Alto will be kicking of itself if it squanders this field position.
well, if they can get close to that 1st down marker, which is at just about the Mountain View 20, they might try to go in and get the 3, but no farther away than that.
Short screen pass. That went to Jameer Cooper, and he gets stopped, but I'm not quite sure where they're going to mark that, where he got pushed out. It looks like he may be a little bit short. Yeah, he's going to be about 4 yards short.
It is going to be short of the 1st down. Now the question is, do the Vikings have a kicker who's capable of getting 3 points from that far out, or are they trying to go for it? And it looks like they're going to do the latter.
Yes. And we've got the first timeout. Palo Alto saw something it didn't like, so we have 9:55 left in the first quarter. A 1-point game, 28-27.
Except it's the 4th quarter.
Oh, 4th quarter, one of those quarters. Thank you, Mike. That's why there are two of us here.
Yeah.
28-27 in the first, 9:55 left in the fourth quarter. 28-27. Palo Alto Vikings over, Mountain View Spartans over the Palo Alto Vikings. Okay, fourth and about 2. The Vikings are going to go for it. Handoff.
I think he made it. He did.
Charlie Hoke was able to get the first down for the Vikings, so very important fourth down conversion there.
And we have another
injured player down. Official timeout. This is Min Kant.
Oh, wow. That would be enormous if Kant were having to leave the game. Why don't we let them
Yeah, we're
sort
going to
that
let
out?
them sort it out. We'll get back. Number 20, Min Kant, walking off the field, fortunately off of his own energy. You know, we're seeing injuries beginning to happen on both sides of it across some pretty good players. And you got to wonder how's that going to affect the play and how's that going to affect the coach's strategy.
Too soon to tell. I mean, the fact that Min was able to walk off, you know, is a very good sign. If he had been not able to walk off, that would have been a critical loss for the Spartans.
Daniels on a low snap, but he gets sacked right there.
And I'll bet you the defensive line and the linebackers are saying that one's for number 20.
David Lopez on the sack for Mountain View. And that's going to bring up second and about 14. It's great to be here for Friday Night Football. If you're a longtime Mountain View or Los Altos high school sports fan, these night games are new. It's just last spring that we had our first games under the lights.
Yes, and they just premiered the lights at Los Altos just a week or so ago, or 2 weeks ago.
21, the ball carrier, Charlie Hoke, and Charlie able to make it up the middle. Doesn't look like he had enough. Looked like he was going to go all the way, but gets stopped. Good stop on behalf of Mountain View, but that's going to bring up 3rd and 2.
So pickup of about 12 on that. So, but right now Palo Alto realizes that if they can take one more shot at the end zone, or at least get the first down, they won't have to try to get the 3.
Daniels ball carry, keeping it running up the middle, and he gets stopped.
But I believe he picked up the first down, Mark.
Yeah, that's right. Looks good. We'll see where they mark it. And that is good. Ball's going to end up on about the 5-yard line. First down, first and goal for the Vikings. 8:09 left in this game.
That is plenty of time for both teams to come back from a deficit or build on a lead. And we've seen both teams be very resilient this evening. So the next 8 minutes are shaping up to be just as fun as the first 40.
Snap to Peters. Peters keeps it. Actually gets a good push and into the end zone for Peters.
And he kind of stiff-armed a defender there. I wondered if he might get called for a face mask.
No, he actually, I think that was a good stiff arm. Go take a look at the replay on that, but good play.
Well, no flag, so I guess it must have been.
Runs right on the left again.
Now, that was a good stiff arm, but he did touch the helmet, so.
You can touch the helmet, you just can't grab the face mask.
Can't, that's right.
And you can grab the shirt, you just can't grab the nameplate.
Now, Palo Alto now is in a position. Are they going to try to get 2, or are they going to just try to kick it
for the PAT?
For the PAT, that's right. And I think they're going to go for two, Mark.
Yeah, this is a critical two-point conversion. Being flushed out of the box, and that is caught and dropped and caught again. Great play for the two-point PAT.
I think that was in and out of the hands of a Mountain View defender.
That's right. Couldn't keep a hand on it, but then it sort of bounced right into a Viking player. Let's see. Almost had that. Yes.
Oh, and you can see that defender's reaction, just thinking,
I almost had that. Well, good play for the Vikings, and now 35-28. It is a one-possession game, a 7-point difference. You know, we get to the fourth quarter now. Now this is where stamina comes in. One of the advantages that these teams did have with the late spring season is because we talked about before, there wasn't as much of a gap between that and the summer practice. You didn't see the normal drop-off in stamina you had between seasons. And
right.
So good spring conditioning turned into good summer conditioning, and so they've been able to carry that all fall. So we're expecting some strong play. And that is going to roll right out of bounds and end up on the 35 as the flags fly. 7:35 left in this fourth quarter.
So now we're going to see how much stamina, as you were saying, how much stamina the Spartans have as the Spirit squad running back and forth with that flag. And I think we get a timeout on the field.
I think you're right. Well, if they did, I don't think Mountain View got the message because they're in position.
Or are they going to kick it again?
Maybe they're going to ask for the, I think actually, instead of taking on the 35, I think Mountain View's going to require them to re-kick it. Okay.
Well, that's the first time we've seen that tonight.
That's option number 2.
And maybe they're looking for a run back, because we've seen tonight that both teams are very capable of doing long run backs, Mark.
Becerra, again, the kicker. Daniels and Dinelli in the backfield for the return. And again, we have another squib kick, which is going to run out of bounds.
Well, I heard some whistles before that, though, so there may have been one of the Palo Alto players may have crossed that line before the ball was struck. Or was there a timeout called?
I don't think so. I'm wondering if are these really intended to be squib kicks, or, you know, speaking as a golfer, we all have our shanks. Sometimes that can affect us for longer than we like.
Well, looks like they're going to kick it a third time anyway.
And they keep on moving back. Okay, the ball is going now back.
On the 35.
Right. So, you know, Mountain View's decision to have them re-kick already is paying at least one 5-yard dividend.
Yeah, the referee was talking to the kicker there, and he may have been saying, look, keep it in bounds. We can't do this all night.
And that one looks good. And it is caught. Running up the left-hand side. Dylan Daniels finally gets pushed out about the 38-yard line. So that's still a pretty good result.
And they got 7.5 minutes to work with.
To make at least 7 points, if not more. Mountain View coach Shelley Smith actually is coming off a successful 5-6 season in 2019 in the tougher De Anza division, and he led it the first playoff win just past few years. So 24 the ball carrier.
That's Leo Navarro again.
Navarro again. This will be Coach Smith's 21st season as the football coach and his 9th season as the head coach, head varsity coach at Mountain View. And he's really built a lot of momentum. Just a few years ago, the Spartans were in the lesser El Camino. They made it up to the De Anza League, and actually they're doing quite well.
Well, there was a flag on the play, but I think they picked it up.
Coach Smith is a local. He attended Saratoga High School, played offensive tackle there. And then he went on to college at St. Mary's College and played for 4 years at St. Mary's College.
St. Mary's in Moraga?
Yes.
Right on.
So we really have a native. Handoff to Navarro, but he gets stopped pretty quickly with essentially no gain on the play. That's going to bring up 3rd and 3. Really important 3rd down conversion here for Mountain View.
Yes, because if they were to give it up to Palo Alto at this point, then the Vikings have the ball in Mountain View territory or very close to it. And if they can score again, that might put the game out of reach.
Injuries are beginning to, getting on the game. We can see if they can keep the momentum and the sharp play up. Handoff to Navarro. Navarro's trying to make the edge, but he gets brought down by number 4. See if there's a flag on that.
Well, I didn't see one, but
Rowan Felsh on the flag, but looked a little bit like a horse collar tackle, but no flag on that one.
Now 4th and 2 or 3. Let's look at that again.
Coming back down, and no, actually, no, it was not a horse collar. That was a good. That was just
a fistful of jersey right there.
Mid-jumper, but not too high. So that was clean. 4th and 1, critical 4th down.
4th and 2 or 3.
Handoff, run up the middle, and it is good.
And he is on his way to the house.
Min Khan, who was down a couple plays ago, back into the game, and not only back in the game for one heck of an important run there, all the way out to about the 8-yard line. This is the one play that Mountain View needed at just the right time.
And Min just running through up the gut. That's a brave call.
And for a guy that was limping off the field just a few minutes ago, to see him rebound so strongly, it's great to see.
You know, Mark, we saw the exact same thing in the Los Altos game where Min went out for a couple of plays. We weren't sure whether he was going to come back, and then he managed to poke some holes in the Los Altos defense in a victorious effort. And there he is again.
Min Khan running up left-hand side, and we have a touchdown for Mountain View. .526 left in the 4th quarter. 35-34, but with 1 PAT still to kick. I would assume that Mountain View is going to go for the PAT instead of the 2-point conversion, but who knows? I mean, it worked for them before.
No, look, they are going to go for the point after.
Diego Bunce in position as the kicker. And that gets blocked, just like the first punt of the game. That's a critical block.
And Palo Alto is going to maintain the lead. And if we can see that, I don't even know if that was so much a block as it was just a low kick.
Yeah, it may have been. I don't know if it was the snap, the hold or what.
Into the scrum. Maybe we can see that again. And we don't have that one. But, Mark, what I saw, that ball didn't even make it above the line of scrimmage.
That could well be.
So, in any case, Palo Alto dodged a bullet there.
And they still have a 1-point lead. We're showing the moon tonight. We want to get as much moon as you can tonight because we're not going to see this for the next 3 days.
No, we're not.
Rain clouds, which we all need, but might as well enjoy the moon while we can. All right, we have two good teams. This is anybody's ball game at this point. 5:26 left in the fourth quarter.
This could come down to a last-second drive by either side.
Brody Simonson, Jameer Cooper in the backfield for the return.
And there's just 5.5 minutes. That's a lot of time, but it's not a lot of time.
And Palo Alto has taken one timeout, but Mountain View none, so Mountain View has all of its timeouts left. Good kick, deep. And he gets pulled down about the 20-yard line, maybe a little bit more than that.
I think that was a smart decision to boom the kick rather than try to go for a squib or an onside kick, because it means that the run back is going to be that much longer if you want to get to daylight. And Mountain View, as we've already seen, has some very fast people on special teams.
So if you're Palo Alto's coach, Nelson Guilford, what are you going to do here?
At this point, it's all about first downs. You are going to run the ball. You're going to try to get it into Mountain View territory. Try to build on that lead, but not to take too many chances.
There we have a handoff. Charlie Hoke on that.
Now, I don't think he made a gain on that one.
We've seen a couple picks, but generally that's been pretty good ball control tonight. Not a lot of big mistakes.
No, and no fumbles.
I didn't want to say that because I don't want to jinx them, but you're right.
No, 2 interceptions, but at least no fumbles that haven't been recovered by the fumbling team.
A keeper right up the middle.
And nothing there.
David Lopez, we're going to give him the credit with the stop. He had a lot of help from his friends. But
well, now I think Palo Alto might be playing it too conservatively. I think they're going to need to, if they want to convert, they're going to have to go to the air because they haven't shown in this series that their running game is in gear.
3rd and 9, although be careful because the last thing you want at this point of the game, at this point of the field, is a pick.
Yeah. 3 wide receivers, though.
Snap.
And here comes the blitz.
Pass, but that is not going to be enough.
Great blitz there by Mountain View, and at just the right time.
Eklund, we haven't heard a lot of Caleb's name tonight, but good stop by Caleb at a critical point, and so we have to assume that they're going to punt this away.
And I don't know if they sent 4 or 5 on that blitz, but it was successful. And now Palo Alto's facing a punt.
And timeout taken by Mountain View on that. A little surprised they took a timeout on that.
So that evens it up. Both teams now have 2 timeouts.
A close game like this, it's always good to have an extra timeout in your back pocket, but obviously they want to do something with this. Pretty high kick, didn't go as far, and it's going to take a little bit of a roll and stop at about the 42-yard line.
Pretty good field position for the Spartans, though. I mean, they've shown that they can turn drives when they're further back in their own territory than that.
So 3:59 left. 35-34, Vikings over the Spartans. Okay, Mike, so now if you are Shelley Smith, Mountain View coach, what are you going to do?
You've shown that you can run the ball effectively, so maybe you try to eat up the clock
and
with
a good
your
run
game.
by Minkont up there. Doesn't get a lot out of that, but 5 yards, you know, and 5 yards here and 5 yards there, pretty soon you have a first down.
It eats up the clock, and it means that if they can get down and kick a field goal and not leave a whole lot of time on the clock for the Vikings, that may be enough. But you got to be very judicious about your passing game because we've already seen each team give up a pick.
And we have a missed snap there. Fortunately, Stefan's able to
There's a flag in the backfield.
False start. Okay, so that's a false start. So that's going to erase that 2-yard gain. Repeat second down. So it's now going to be 2nd and 10. As they start the clock again. 3:21 left now. Quarterback snap, Stefan. He pitches it to Minkont. Minkont able to make some pretty good progress in there, about 7 yards, but it's going to leave another important 3rd down conversion.
He did get it into Palo Alto territory.
On the 49-yard line, 3rd and 2nd. Third and 2, I should say, not 3rd and 2nd. Oh, and we had handoff. It looks like he slipped.
That's what I was just about to say, is that he slipped, and it was at a very inopportune time because now you've got a 4th and 3.
What do you do?
I'd go for it at this point. Let's take a look at that. And
yeah, he just tripped.
Yeah. And I think Pally just took a timeout.
Which is probably welcomed by Mountain View. We have about 2:15 left. So getting down to 2 minutes at this point.
Did we cut away?
We have the band here. We have the cheer squad here. We have all the parents here. Again, this is the heart of football. This is high school football on a Friday night of critical game. Critical game for both teams. This may be the point that either makes or breaks their season.
Yeah, this is the play of the game
left.
right here.
Runs around the end, makes it all the way through, keeps on going. That's Dylan Daniels. And that is a very successful 4th down conversion. 2:07 left before he was pushed out of bounds. And they're going to start the clock again. So we're going to wind down less than 2 minutes. 1st and 10 Mountain View on their own 22. Now clock management becomes very important. Handoff again to Minkont. Min runs up the left-hand side. Doesn't get all the way to the first down, but gets a good 8 yards onto that. And the clock keeps running.
And Mountain View's doing exactly what they need to do. They're using up the clock. They're using Min to keep the ball on the ground to still pick up yards, and they're hoping that they won't leave any time on the clock for the Vikings, either by getting 3 or by getting 6.
1:25 left, handoff to Mincont again. Mincont looks like he's got the first down. That's going to give them another series. And by the way, even if they don't get a touchdown on that, because they're going to spot the ball in the 15, they are definitely in field goal territory.
Mountain View's executing, and Palo Alto, I've got to wonder, is Palo Alto realizing, hey, we can't stop these guys?
Long throw, and caught.
No!
By Joe. Oh, no, didn't he hold on to it.
And I don't know if that was good defense or he just couldn't get the handle on it, but no, that was great reaction, but I don't see a flag. I don't think there was pass interference on that one.
Joe Brown was the receiver on that. That still leaves 2nd and 10.
And we got about a minute left in this contest now.
Yeah, 1:01 on the clock. Handoff again to Min. Nope, actually it's kept. And that was a loss of a couple yards.
And the clock is still going.
43 seconds left. 3rd down. Got to be careful that you don't have too many of these tackles for loss, because you don't want to put yourself out of field goal
That's right.
range.
And that one was batted down.
We have 27 seconds left. 4th down and about 13. The ball is going to stay on the 19-yard line. And so we've got obviously
great defensive effort there.
Really got just a hand on that, but that was enough to deflect it.
And that was Charlie Hoke. And here comes the field goal.
Diego Bunce. And we have a timeout.
And the coach comes running onto the field. You don't see that often.
Yes.
And I'm not sure, but that there's a
timeout.
I mean, a timeout was called, but I mean, can a coach run onto a field like that?
Usually that's sideline interference. You know, especially in the middle of a play like that, but no flags on the field, so obviously he can, and he did without penalty.
How about that?
Okay, 1 timeout left for each team, not with 27 seconds. We expect it to make a big difference.
So this would put the Spartans ahead by 2, but you've still left enough time for the Vikings to run it back or to throw a Hail Mary pass if this field goal is successful.
And that is no good. No good. A little left. So we have 21 seconds left. Palo Alto takes possession of the ball. And I think they, if I do my math correctly, I think they can just kneel down a few times and run out this clock, even with the 1 timeout left for Palo Alto.
I think they might be able to just kneel it down once, and that would be enough, unless Mountain View just wants to delay the inevitable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Heartbreaking kick for Mountain View. Well played game by both teams. Great Friday night football.
That's what we want from Friday Night Lights, and that's what we've got tonight at Mountain View High School.
And we have the first kneel down. And you're right, it's fruitless for Mountain View to use its last timeout. All right.
That's going to do it.
We're going to rack it up. The clock goes down from 7. For Mountain View, California, Vikings win 35 over the Spartans 34. This has been a production of KMV 15 Sports. Producer is Josh Young. Thank you, Josh. Camera was Breen Yoon. Other camera person was Robin Frank. Thank you, Breen and Robin. Special thanks to Mountain View High School for hosting us here tonight. This is Mark Diamond.
And I'm Mike Messner, and we're both reminding you, run for the roses, but don't forget to stop and smell them.
Take care.